And he told me, I will show you tomorrow. And that is when he brought me the first ever stick that I smoked of bang. It was a very slim stick, and from there on, my journey with bang started from there on. Mind you, mi si karao.
So you're impersonating?
So I'm impersonating.
You're not even afraid of being caught?
Hata sishtuki.
Wajukwairi uko?
Niko aire, hata Land Cruiser ya karao ikipita naipiga salute na wanaona huyu jamani wetu. Hata hawashughuliki na mimi. I did not know what happened in terms of what he used because my eyes were closed. I did not know what happened after there. But what I remember is that I would not stay more than 2 hours without smoking bang. My alcohol consumption was, let me say, on another level. Because I would take alcohol even at 4 a.m. as long as I have it. If Mugoka is here, bang is not very far from there. Cigarettes are not very far from there. Funny thing, you look at the road, you see a bar. And I used these things, let me say, in total of 12 years. Alitoka na bunduki yake. Hii story nakujanga kuambiwa baadaye, juu sikujua. Alitoka na bunduki yake, akidhani ni waizi wanaingia kwa ploti yao. The first time. Yeah. Nimeenda rehab thrice.
3 times?
Nimeenda rehab 3 times. But 2017 was my first time. Kama singekuwa natumia hizo stuff, singepelekwa Mathare, singeanguka. So nikasema let me make a decision right now once and for all. Nikamuita nikamwambia mimi sasa nimekubali kwenda rehab. Nitaenda rehab. Sasa hii ni the third time, ilikuwa 2020 January. In fact, for me, it's not an everyday fight. It's an hourly fight.
Many a times we find ourselves between a rock and a hard place when it comes to matters addiction. We even thought that addiction is a choice. The more we see people drinking within the estates, the more we see people drinking even in schools, we tend to believe it's the choice that they've made so that they can drink. However, time and again, we've come to realize that addiction is not a choice, addiction is a disease. The Addiction channel, which is a YouTube channel, is hereby bringing you real life stories of addiction, people who've gone through addiction, in recovery, and now they're living a sober life. With me today is Caesar. Welcome, Caesar.
Thank you so much.
Caesar.
Yes.
Who is Caesar?
Caesar is just a normal guy, driver professionally, and I'm a born-again Christian. Yes.
Caesar, you've been through a lot because of addiction.
Sure.
How did it start?
Well, all through my high school life, my primary and high school life, I never indulged in drugs nor in alcohol. In fact, I would fear those that were using those drugs. I would see as if they were some in gangs, some. My only time that I tasted alcohol was my last day in school, in Form 4 after the exam. That was the first time I ever tasted alcohol. But from there on, I didn't indulge in alcohol again, because even that day I puked a lot after the sip of alcohol that I was given by a friend. Then I cleared my high school in 2007, and immediately 2008 I started hustling manual jobs at a hardware, where I met one guy. My addiction, my start with bang, because I was addicted to bang, came in a very funny way, because I spotted that his eyes were red every morning, that his eyes were red, and I liked what I saw in him. So I asked him, what do you do so that your eyes become red? And he told me, I will show you tomorrow. And that is when he brought me the first stick, the first ever stick that I smoked of bang. It was a very slim stick, and from there on, my journey with bang started from there on.
Your first sip of alcohol
Yes.
was the last day you finished Form 4.
Yes,
And you're saying after that point, you didn't take anymore.
I didn't take alcohol anymore.
And here comes a time whereby you get your first stick of bang.
Yes.
Then after how many years?
Over.
After the first sip of alcohol and then the first
It was
stick.
the span was months because I cleared my high school in November 2007, and I started around April or May of 2008. That is when I started now
Smoking
my
bang.
first stick of bang.
How was the feeling?
I can say I didn't feel anything at much, but I wanted my eyes to become red. I didn't feel much of it. In fact, all through my bang smoking, I can't tell you the high of bang is like this, because I could not feel it. But it has been a slow, progressive journey, because while I was at Kayole, because Kayole is where I started my working, my hustling, I liked the Rastafarian movement, and I decided I want to join. And so there was this guy with a red turban who used to come at the place I was working at. And so I asked him of the process of how to become like him, so that I could also have that turban. And he told me that he will do something. I don't know what he did, but he told me he will do something so that I could join the movement. And we organized for a meet. It was on a Saturday, it was on a Sunday, remember, because it was my off day. I went to his home. First he welcomed me with a cup of tea and some mandazi. And then after there is when he washed my hair. I had an afro. That is when he washed my hair. I did not know what happened in terms of what he used, because my eyes were closed. I did not know what happened after there. But what I remember is that I slept so much, a sleep that I have never slept before. And after I woke up, then we smoked some more weed, and from there I left. But from that point on, no single day would pass without me smoking bang. And it was like hourly. I would not stay more than 2 hours without smoking bang.
So initially,
Yes,
you were taking too much of bang.
too much of bang.
And as you're saying, progressively,
Yes,
you're in a position to take more bang. Eh?
more and more.
So it means from the time you started taking bang,
Yes,
and as days went by, your tolerance for taking bang increased.
yes, it increased.
Now here comes a point you met your brother-in-law and introduced you to alcohol.
Yes,
How was the feeling?
it was a good feeling. I would say it was a good feeling. The tipsy feeling was a good feeling, because he used an expensive whiskey. He didn't use this second generation alcohol. It was a good feeling. Top it up with because my bang smoking was like every hour. Top it up with the steam or the highness of the bang, and now add half a glass of whiskey. The feeling was, let me say, it was amazing that time. That time it was amazing. And then from there on, now I also started buying for myself alcohol. There was this, and it is still there. kibao vodka. I would buy kibao vodka and mix it up with bang smoking a bit, weekends at home, and it continued like that. As you remember, I told you I'm a driver professionally, so I got employed at a transport company. I was given a lorry, and we were given a contract to transport for Kenya Breweries Limited. And there is when now my alcohol addiction, I would say, progressed to a higher level, because that time it was Nakumat that was being shipped to was receiving the alcohol so much. So they had a policy that if a bottle of beer is cracked, they can't take it, and neither can you return it to Kenya Breweries. So what we would do, we would pay cash. If that bottle was 200, we would pay like 180, and then you are given the bottle, you go back with it, and you have already paid for it, you can't return it to Kenya Breweries. Many a times I would find myself receiving Johnny Walkers, the expensive liquor, because my lorry was a small one, it was not a big one, so they preferred it mostly to transport those expensive whiskies. At times we would pay for it, at times we would not pay for it. So I'd meet myself with Mzinga. Remember, I'm still smoking bang because it was my favorite. Let me say it was my favorite choice. So I would start immediately. I would not even wait to go home. I would just go behind the lorry, take a tumbler, quickly put it out and sip, and now start feeling the hyperness of the alcohol and bang. My alcohol consumption was let me say on another level, because I would take alcohol even at 4 a.m. as long as I have it. I didn't have time. I wouldn't say that I will stay until evening and then drink. No. If it was there, any time was drinking time.
So you mean you couldn't control yourself?
I couldn't control
over
myself
alcohol?
over alcohol. Now you see, I've met two drugs now, alcohol and bang. Still in this transport company, this lorry, because I would go to places, I learned of Mogoka. And my first time with Mogoka wasn't pleasant because it was a bitter. I felt it was not tasty.
It was bitter.
It was bitter for me. But slowly, if I would go, say, to Mombasa or say to Nyeri, because of I had been told it will help you not sleep, I started using it slowly. It reached a point in 2012. I remember the whole of 2012, no single day passed without me having Mugoka. From January to December, I remember so well. No day passed without me having Mugoka.
Now, you started with bang.
I started with bang, yes.
Alcohol, you were introduced to a relative.
Yes.
And then here comes Mugoka. Who introduced you to Mugoka?
Mugoka is, I saw people chewing at the place we used to wait for jobs.
Yeah.
That is where I saw people chewing.
So you were curious. So
I was curious, and I decided, why don't I join in also to fit in with these people and also to feel the hyper that is in Mugoka. And you see now there are three.
Yeah.
Still at the same place. It is when I smoked my first cigarette, because I would see them chewing Mugoka, and then they are smoking, and I would ask them, how is the feeling? And they tell me, taste, do it for yourself. And I felt amazing. Let me say amazing. That time it was amazing. And I continued like that. 2012, 2013. These are the years that I remember so well, because 2013 my aunt had a wedding and I was so disturbed because we are not anywhere close to those substances. So I had like a withdrawal syndrome or something like that. I was not very, very comfortable. But immediately after the wedding, I went and found a place. I bought mugoka, I bought bang, I bought alcohol. And you know, it's a funny thing that these things are almost in the same area. If mugoka is here, bang is not very far from there. Cigarettes are not very far from there. Funny thing, you look at the road, you see a bar. And I used these things, let me say, in total of 12 years.
And let me ask you, we've talked about you felt uneasy in the wedding because you're not in a position
Yes.
to access them.
Yes.
Okay, when you've not gotten the drugs or alcohol, mugoka, bang,
Yes.
how are you feeling in front of people?
I was anxious. I was moody. I was getting angry over very petty issues. That feeling I can't explain it well.
No,
but
that means when you've not taken alcohol, mugoka and bang, you're not in a position to do your things in the right way.
True.
But the moment you take them, you suppress the feeling and you can move forward.
Very
So
true.
it means that you became dependent on them.
I became dependent on them.
Now after 12 years you've used them.
Yes.
What happened?
In 2017, 2016, December 2017, now January, I was at an area called Nanyuki Road, Depot area. My brother-in-law is a truck driver. So he told me to buy for him a bottle of water from a shop and come give it to him. As he was coming, he stopped by the road so that I could give him the water. But he realized I was shaking a lot because that day I had not taken alcohol, neither bang nor mugoka. My head was clean. Let me say I was sober that time. But he realized I was shaking and he asked me, Caesar, what's the problem? Why are you shaking? And I told him, sijatoa lock. He told me, hujatoa lock? I said, yes. He felt so bad. But you know, they are also our supporters or say enablers.
Enablers, yeah.
So he just went to his pocket, gave me something small, and I rushed to buy the drug of choice, mugoka bang and cigarette and alcohol. And I started my, let me say, party. And I started my party. And from there is when now they sat as a family and they saw that I had a problem. And they decided to contact a doctor, a psychiatrist at Nairobi Hospital area. And they asked me, will you go to the doctor? And I said, yes, I will go.
Did you believe you have a problem?
No, I didn't. And even me going to the doctor was out of obedience because he's older than me and he has asked me to go to see the doctor. So I went. The doctor told me that I have a problem of addiction. That is when I first realized, that I had a problem with addiction. And he told me that I can come out of it if I agree to a program that is there. Now, later on is when I realized this program, it's about rehabilitation. And he asked me, are you willing to go to a rehabilitation center? And I said, yes, I am ready. But it is not out of my own will. It is out of obedience. I don't want to disappoint my brother-in-law. I don't want to disappoint my family members. I want to do the right thing at that time. And if I would have help and maybe have a way, my thinking was if I go to rehab, I will be able to control my drug use or my alcohol consumption. And so, yeah, they organized. And the funny thing, the rehab that I went to, it is myself who found out the number. I was at a drinking den at a Wines and Spirit, and the way people usually interact, I interacted with one guy and he told me, I know of a rehab center and I can give you his contact. So I took the contact and sent it to my sister. And from there on is when I was organized. It was organized for me to go to, it's called St. Martin's Rehabilitation Center. It's in Maragua.
Wow. It's indeed a story.
Yes.
And we'll take a break. We'll come back shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Caesar,
Yes.
let me take you back.
Okay.
You were introduced to alcohol by your brother-in-law, to bang by friends, to Mogoka by friends.
Yes.
And here comes a time you're talking about 12 years in addiction.
Yes.
Now we have the family, the work party, and your general lifestyle.
Mm.
Was it affected?
So much, especially with my relationship with my ex-girlfriend. Wakati wacha nimuite ex-girlfriend, na visanga mingi sana nilikuwa nafanya.
Kama?
One time I am high and there was this friend of mine from Umo and we were with him the whole day. Tulishinda naye vizuri na sasa tukambiana tukutane tena jioni ndio tuende tuongeze steam. Sasa huyu jamaa akanionyesha pali yako na nikaona ile keja tulikuwa, juu ilikuwa haikuwa yetu, ilikuwa ya beste na beste is an officer, so alikuwa duty. So tukaenda tukashinda naye, so but jioni tukapart ways kidogo. Sasa mimi ile time tulikubaliana turudi, ndio mimi nikaamua nirudi. Kwenda pale aliniambia hako, nikanock akufunguliwi. Nikanock akufunguliwi. Ilikuwa na first floor. So kichwa yangu ikaniambia we panda juu. Na mind you ni usiku. We panda juu. Juu unajaribu kumuita na labda amedoze hapo kwa keja. Ndio mpatane tu, na mlango ilikuwa ina face side ya balcony kabisa. Mimi nikapanda juu vizuri, kashikilia wall na nikapanda juu na nikapanda vizuri na nikaingia kwa balcony na nikabisha bisha. But let me tell you, ilikuwa ni risky sana because kwa hiyo ploti kulikuwa na officer mwingine. Na vile alisikia ile commotion, alitoka na bunduki yake. Hii story nakujanga kuambiwa baadaye, juu sikujua. Alitoka na bunduki yake akidhani ni waizi wanaingia kwa ploti yao. Sasa hiyo ni kisanga moja. Kulikuwa ingine, nilikuwa na jacket ya combat na nilikuwa na trouser ya green kama ile AP over na black shoes. So nilikuwa na naiva, napiga ndomi yangu na napiga kanusu kangu. Ile kitu nilikuwa nahakikisha ni ati every morning I had something ya kutoa lock. Either ikue weed ama ikue tei, but weed lazima ingekuwa.
Kwa hivyo kilalo ulikuwa na stock?
Nilikuwa na stock. Hata kani moja tu ama kanusu tu, but zote zikuwe either ni kapombe kanusu ama kawid kanusu. Nikaamua kuwa traffic police.
Wow, hiyo ni mtaa gani?
Umo.
Moja.
Hapo tu area inaitwa Charina. Hiyo kuna barabara inaitwa Charina hapo hivyo. So every morning what I would do, napiga steam yangu, navaa ile combat, na ile trouser na viatu, natoka. Nilikuwa navaa cape. So juu sikuwa na ile beret. Nilikuwa navaa cape, natoka. Na control traffic. Na control traffic. Na control traffic. Mind you, mi si karao.
So you're impersonating?
So I'm impersonating.
You're not even afraid of being caught?
Hata sishtuki.
Uko aire uko?
Niko aire. Hata Land Cruiser ya karao ikipita naipiga salute. Na wanaona huyu jamani wetu. Hata hawashughuliki na mimi. So ndio siku moja mother ndio wakaniona. Wakiwa wanapita tu hapo. Ndio mother wakaniona. Wakashindwa. Siza ni nini anafanya kwa road. Akicontrol traffic. Hapo ndio aliorganize. Alikuwa na do job Mathare kitambo as a nurse. Hapo ndio aliorganize. Kama naweza pelekwa Mathare nipate treatment. But haikuwa immediately. Juu hapo ndio sasa brother-in-law wakagundua niko na shida na ndio wakani approach na story ya rehab. Niende rehab. The first time. Nimeenda rehab thrice.
3 times?
Nimeenda rehab 3 times. But 2017 was my first time. Yes.
Wow. Now, venye mlipanga kwenda rehab,
Yes.
What happened? Ulifikiaje ndio uende sasa rehab? Mmeniambia kuna hiyo walikuja wakamwacha uende rehab. Did you go to that rehab?
Yes, I went. Kumbuka pale nilikwambia, mimi ndio hata nilipata contact, nikarudishia sistangu, nikamrushia hiyo namba.
Lakini hiyo contact ulipata kwa club?
Nilipata kwa club, hata nimuite best. Nilipata tu kwa best mwenye tunaongea. Juu nilianza kumuongelesha nikamwambia, leo nilikuwa kwa daktari na akaniambia niko na shida ya TI nini. Akaniambia, hata ninajua mtu, shika namba yake. Na nikapewa namba. Na I went to Maragwa. My girlfriend was there, very supportive, but also she was my enabler. Juu alikuwa ananibaianga. Juu tukishindana naye keja anaona matremas, niko moody, so ananibaia. Na nikaenda rehab na nikaanza my program for 3 months. Nikaanza vizuri. But now 3 ama 2 weeks prior nitoke, kukakuja client. Huyu client aliletwa na familia yao na kulikuwa na kazini yake kijana alikam. So huyo kijana ndio aliorganize, ndio wakaongea. Anamletea nini?
Steam.
Ilikuwa ni bangi, hata si steam. Akaamua mletea ngeba. Mimi kusikia bangi, kichwa ikaruka. Nikafurahi after 2.5 months ya kukua soba na umemisi kitu. Ndio hiyo nimepata nayo tena. Nika relapse tu nikiwa ndani ya rehab. Juu tulivutia ndo uko nyuma ya ofisi. Nikasikia ile feeling. Sasa hapo ndio naweza kuexplainia vile nilisikia. I felt a rush kwa damu, heart is pounding. Na time yangu ya rehab juu nilikuwa nimebakisha 2 weeks ikaisha. Kukujiwa rehab, brother-in-law yangu akaamua ni test. Nimewacha. Akanipeleka klabu inaitwa Hacienda Ngara. Kulikuwa na baby shower ya sistangu, so akaamua wanipitishe tu huko. Kwa hiyo Hacienda, nafikiria hadi wa leo yuko sijui, but huko ndio nilipitishwa. Sijui ni shetani, sijui ni Mungu. Nikapata punch. Sotano. Kwa parking lot. Ile sotano kwanza nikabai fegi. Juu nilikuwa natakia fegi. Na nikaingia hapo kwa Wines and Spirit, nikatoa lock. So unaona, nimerelapse nikiwa ndani ya rehab na hata vile tu nimetoka nishaendelea. Acha tizi kuanza, nikuendelea, nimeendelea. Na nikaendelea hivyo progressively mpaka nikapata brother-in-law yangu akaniorganizea nikapata job as a truck driver wa fuel. Na huko kuna do. Kwa nikapata do. Nilikuwa na kapride wewe. Juu nilikuwa natumana ndom na nduthi. Naambia msee nduthi endo nilete ndom ya 1000 inaletwa. Navuta. But ile job pia ni stressing. So kila jioni lazima ningeenda kaa niko high home. Unfortunately nikafanya kisanga huko kwa fuel industry na nikaterminatiwa. Kutaminatiwa ndio I think go into a ditch. Juu nilianza kutei zaidi like naamka naenda bar nashinda bar na mind you pia natumia bangi. Mostly nilikuwa natumia bangi na pombe mostly. Cigarettes zimekuja later on. Muguka niliacha kabisa juu ya meno. Nilisikia meno inakuwa painful. Nikawacha, alafu kuna time ningeikula na vomit. So hiyo nikaacha nayo kabisa. Nikaendelea tu na tei na bangi. But saa kukaa home ndio wakaona mse hayuko fiti. Ule brother in law yangu akani-reach out akaniambia, hivi vile unaendelea tutakurudisha rehab. Na ukumbuke the first time haikuwa my own will, ilikuwa out of obedience. Na sasa ameni-approach nikiwa high. Reaction yangu haikuwa poa. Nikamwambia mimi msinipeleke rehab na muachane na maisha yangu kabisa. So akanitoa, akaniacha. Na from that time on wakajaribingi kunitafutia vile watanipeleka rehab. So mi kurudi home, nikaona hao watu wananipangia kunipeleka rehab tena. Sitakaa home. Niende Umo kwa rafiki zangu. Juu nilikuwa nisha shift from Umo na ka Joska home. So nikaenda kukanga na pedi wangu. Sikuenda pali kwa beste yangu juu wangejua kule niko na wangenifikia. Mimi my fear was ni kurudishwa rehab tena. Ndio hiyo tukakaa na pedi wangu. But
so at this point pedi wako alikuwa accommodative?
Alikuwa accommodative, alikuwa supportive sana.
So hapo bangi ununui
iko? Hata sinunui. Okay. Iko navuta, iko hapo dish, chakula ananipatia. But sasa pia mother na brother in law bado wana organize vile nitapelekwa wapi? Rehab. Lakini mother akawaambia juu she's a nurse but retired, akawaambia mungempeleka rehab after detox. Na sikuwa nimefanywa detox the first time. Detox utafanyiwa wapi? Zinakuanga hosi mbili. Kuna hiyo ya Chiromo na kuna hii iko Mathare. Na nikaorganiziwa na nikapelekwa Mathare. But nikiwa huko Mathare ndio tukiwa tumekaa tu hapo, jamaa fulani ndio alichukua viatu zetu akazitupa kwa roof. Hakuzitupa kwa roof. Mimi nikaambia nurse, wacha niende nichukue viatu zangu. At first alikataa but eventually alinikubali niende nichukue.
Ulikuwa persistent
nilikuwa persistent, nikamsumbua. So and I went na nikachukua viatu zangu na vitu zingine zilikuwa kwa roof. Nikazitupa chini. But sasa nikishuka sijui kuliendaje, nikaanguka. Na kuanguka mkono yangu ikavunjika kwa wrist, ili dislocate kwa wrist na kwa elbow, but pia kwa wrist ilikuwa na fracture pia.
Yeah.
So ndio nikarashiwa Kiambu Hospital, mkono ikarudishwa hii dislocation, lakini hapa ikaekwa tu cast juu ilikuwa na kidonda, haingekuwa ile cast full, ilikuwa half. Na nikakaa nayo. Nikatoka Mathare after a few days, nikadischargewa, nikaenda home. Na hii vile nilikuwa nimeorganiziwa rehab, juu pia walikuwa washaorganize rehab nikiwa Mathare, nikapelekwa. Second time now, that is 2018. Na nikiwa huko ndio nikaendelea na matibabu na dawa, na hata siku ya kutolewa hiyo cast juu ilikuwa tu dislocation na fracture kidogo ikafika, kapelekwa hosi, katolewa. But sasa mkono ikakuwa iko straight, haisongi hivi, haiflex, ikakuwa iko straight. Ndio tukauliza daktari kuna shida gani, ndio ikapigwa x-ray. Kupigwa x-ray nikakuta bones zimepitana, hii ya left ikakuwa zimepitana. So solution ikakuwa wewe haiwezi saidika, the only solution unaweza fanyiwa ni elbow fusion. Elbow fusion ni ufanywe surgery ndio hizo bones zifusiwe pamoja. Na ika happen tu hivyo, na nikapelekwa Kijabe nikafanywa hiyo procedure, but now my hand can't flex. The left hand. The left hand stays in one position. And ikakuwa ni hivyo na maisha inaendelea tu hii.
Na pia ukamaliza rehab. Na
pia rehab sikumaliza. Juu saa wakati mkono ilileta shida ikaonekana ni sort of emergency. Okay. So nikatolewa rehab, hata sikukaa a month in rehab. Nikatolewa na nikaenda hosi na procedure ikaendelea. But nikiwa home as I'm getting healed, sistangu ananiinsistia, wewe rudi rehab umalize program yako. Juu already walikuwa washajua nafaa kukaa rehab for 6 months juu nimerelapse tena. Nilikuwa nafaa kukaa 6 months, but mimi nikakataa, nikamwambia mimi niko sawa na hizo vitu sitatumia tena. Nika heal, kaendelea kupona na kila kitu ikaendelea sawa. And for that span, hiyo period ya 2018-2019, for some few months niliweza kukaa bila kutumia kitu yoyote. Niliweza a bit like give it 3 months.
So it means that after hiyo unasema uliweza, ulirudia tena?
Nilirudia.
What happened?
Nilisikia hii kukaa soba tena hii siwezi, imenilemea. Nikaanza na fegi, nikaenda nikabai fegi. Nikavutanga fegi, nikavuta fegi. So one day nikasema kuna kastim nilikuanga nasikia nikichanganya fegi na ndomo. Nikachukua fegi, nikachukua ndomo.
At that point umeanza sasa bangi. Do you believe from your mind ulikuwa kama unaweza control?
Nilikuwa najua ndakuwa navutanga tu kanusu kwa siku.
Sawa.
Jumbeleni zilikuwa mastic kama 5. Ilikuwa more of sahi nasema tu I'll be doing a half every day. Na ikakuwa hivyo for some few days, but mkono bado inaendelea kuheal until sasa 2019 hapo ndio mambo ilienda hewa, ilienda down the drain. Juu kwa hii process bado naendelea kurudia zile vitu nilikuwa natumia. Nikakuta nimerudia pombe, nikakuta pia bado nimerudia mogoka.
Karudi full ball.
Nikarudi sasa full addiction, tena full ile addiction ile full. Yes.
Na let me ask you.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo kutokea kale kanusu ulikuwa unapiganga ya bangi, ilienda hivyo ikiongezeka tu.
Iliendelea hivyo ikiongezeka mpaka nikafikia sasa ile psycho ya kitambo. Ile lazima nilale nayo. Ndio ya mkangware niko na kitu ya kupata.
What was your turning point?
My turning point ilikuwa 2020 January. My mom alikaa akaona hii addiction spiral imezidi. Akaniita. Akaniambia mimi sasa pali imefika nitarudi kwetu. Na kuchunguza, it was because of me, nimempea enough stress. So ndio nikakaa chini, nikajiita kama mkutano tu kangu. Kajiambia hii maisha si maisha mzuri. Alafu nikiangalia my left hand naona haitakuwa the same. Na ile shida ilifanya hii mkono yangu ikuwe hivyo ni juu ya hii. Kama singekuwa natumia hizo stuff, singepelekwa Mathare, singeanguka. So nikasema let me make a decision right now once and for all. Nikamuita nikamwambia mimi sasa nimekubali kwenda rehab. Nitaenda rehab. Sasa hii ni the third time, ilikuwa 2020 January. Na kwenda 2020 January ndio nikaambiwa juu it is a relapse, nitakaa miezi 6. So nikakaa from January till August ya 2020 na nikafuatilia program vizuri with seriousness, with all eagerness. Juu nakumbukanga hata ningeamkanga a bit earlier than the others, niende kwa hiyo room tulikuwa tunaomba na pray na nafuatilia zile steps vizuri, and then I met a good counselor. Namshukuru pahali yako, alitake interest sana na mimi, kunikalisha chini, kuniambia how naweza overcome hii addiction nikieka seriousness. Na August 29th ndio nilimaliza na nikarudi home. From there on nikaingilia mambo ya church, and that is when I gave my life to Christ. Na from there on life has been very different. The person you are with now here, Joseph, and the person I was at that time, hata majirani hapo home wanasemanga kuna tofauti kweli. Juu nini, I was heading to north, the wrong direction, but nika realize hii direction naenda, it will end up somewhere not so good. Nika turn 180 degrees, naenda another different direction. And I love my life the way I am this day. I love who I am, and I thank God that He has also enabled me to live my day sober. Yes.
Now, do you believe addiction is a disease or addiction is a choice?
Addiction, it is a disease. Many people say that it is a choice, but because I have been in it, it is a disease. Joseph, utasemaje si disease kama huu mtu anaamka asubuhi, badala ya chai ama breko ama chakula unakimbilia steam ama unakimbilia bangi? Ni kumaanisha there is something very wrong kwa mwili, which needs to be addressed. Not with hate, si vile wase wengi hate addicts, not with hate, but with so much love. I thank and I appreciate my family, especially my sister. She never gave up on me. Hata akiambiwa rehab, anarudi tena rehab. Juu yeye ndio alikuwa ananisimamia, juu mimi nilikuwa nishajiwaste, sijasave hata do. Despite the hardships, kwanza hiyo time ilikuwa time ya lockdown ya COVID hiyo 2019, na ashaambiwa nakaa 6 months. It was expensive on her, but aligive her all ili tu niweze kureform, kuona kama nimereform. Na hii fight is an everyday fight. In fact, for me, it's not an everyday fight. It's an hourly fight. Ati from 12 to 1, hapa katikati lazima nikae sober. From 1 to 2, lazima nikae sober. My fight, I take it hourly. I don't take it a day. Juu ukisema a day, kuna mali unaweza legea, ujistukie, ushapita na kafegi. Na mi sijui kwa nini, mi kwangu fegi ndio huwa ya fast kurudia, ndio huwa quickly mi nachukuaga narudia.
It's readily available,
Naanzanga na fegi tena najikuta. So this fight now, it has been 2 years of soberness.
2 years sober?
Yes. And I pray God and myself, pia discipline yangu mimi mwenyewe. Juu lazima pia ujieke discipline. Usitumie hizo vitu.
Now, how is the mood in the family now that you're in recovery?
They are very happy. They are very happy. Even last December we were together, and they were very, very happy, and they are thankful to God, and they want me to help other people in our family who are addicted, because addiction is also in the family, because my cousins, some of my uncles are
Your
using,
brother-in-law.
my brother-in-law, they are also addicted to substance use.
Caesar,
Yes,
after going through all that,
yes,
you are now in a position to say that you're sober,
yes,
that you're saved.
yes.
Do you have a family?
I have a wife. Let me call her a wife, although it's not official, as in church wedding, but I have a woman that I'm dating, and I'm very happy with her. I met her in church, and we are happy together, and I thank God for it.
She knows your journey?
She knows my whole journey.
She's supportive?
She's very supportive. Even during hii time tulienda Krisi Ushago, she would pray for me physically, ananiambia let us pray kwa simu, and we pray, and she tells me usikae karibu na hao watu wanatumia hizo vitu, just leave. Tembea tu mahali kwingine, and we pray, and I thank God for her.
So we can say, in the recovery journey, we talk of a support system.
Yes.
She is one of your support
She is one of
system.
my support system.
Now, and in general life,
Yes.
now what are you doing for a living?
Because I'm in the transport industry, right now I do more of consultancy and logistics. Maybe you want to shift, maybe you want some goods transported, I can refer you to people I know. And also I'm also working online. There are these tasks that they are from remote tasks. I also do work online. And also back at home we do poultry farming. We rear broilers and also second advanced kienyeji. Yes, that is what I'm doing for now. Yes.
And Caesar, a lot of families are suffering outside there.
Yes.
Because of addiction. And through your story,
yes,
how can they reach you?
They can reach me through my number, my cell phone number. It's 0741 164 030.
Again?
0741 164 030. Any time of the day I'm available. My phone doesn't go off. Yes.
Thank you so much, Caesar, for coming.
Thank you to Joseph.
Wow, what a story. It has taken Caesar more than 12 years to fight addiction. He has gone to 3 rehabs. He's been to Madare Hospital because of the same. This does not make Caesar less of a man. But this is why the Addiction Tunnel is here to bring you real life stories about addiction, recovery, and how being sober is important in our lives. Remember, Caesar is also a born-again Christian right now. We know of many families which are suffering because of addiction. But we have true life testimonies like that of Caesar. And this is our challenge to you families that are undergoing the same in addiction. That all is not lost. All is not lost. We'll continue seeing full life stories, real life stories about recoveries, about addiction. And this means, as Caesar's spoken about his story, one of the key support systems that he has is the family. If the family decided to do away with Caesar, maybe Caesar will not be in a position to speak about his story today. The same case happens to all the other families that are experiencing addiction in their families, in their midst. Kindly continue to give support, moral support, to your family members who are undergoing the same. To the society at large, do not victimize and stigmatize addicts. Because addicts are not bad people. They're just sick people who are trying to get help. let's recollect ourselves and know what to do about addiction. Thank you so much. Continue watching the addiction tunnel to give you more insight about addiction.